Life is what you say it is. You know, and we all know the scripture, you know, life and death lies in
the tongue.
In the tongue.
It's power in that tongue.
It is. So it's going to be what you say it is. And if you can allow yourself to transition from season to season and allow it to grow you, like you'll start saying things more and more and greater because you're going to say it according to how you've experienced it. So if you experience God on a deeper, a wider, more expansive level, you'll start talking about God from that vantage point.
Yes.
So, you know, that's all the more reasons why you have to allow yourself to transition and to go courageously from season to season.
With knowing your seasons, the ending and the beginnings, the new ones, what would you say the foundation is and recognize it like for this person? What has to be their foundation to, like we're saying, to hear God, know from God? So are we saying that these people has to have a personal relationship with God to know these seasons, or what do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's good that we, you know, that we have people that can mentor us, or if we go to church and we have a pastor or a preacher that's sharing the word in a way that we can respond to. I think all of those things are great or important. But ultimately,
personal relationship
is your relationship. Is your, you know, it's just a personal thing. And I think that you know, it's okay for us to in fact, I think it's imperative that we embrace a personal relationship.
Oh yeah, yeah, and with embracing that personal relationship, we'll be able to hear and be in tune about us, about me, about Shalisha. You know, without being in tune or that personal relationship, I feel like that person is all over the place.
Right,
they're paying attention to what's going on here, and here, and trying to figure out, okay, which route do I want to be, like this person, that person, and then. What comes into play then is depression because you can't meet those expectation. Suicide is at a high rate, you know, and so having that personal relationship with God is very important.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's key what you're saying, because you know we do get out all over the place, and then and what's missing in that is when you're all over the place, comparing, looking outside of yourself, like you miss the beauty of
who you are. And that's so important. That's so true because it didn't take until I gave my life to Christ back in 2010. That's when I knew who Shalisha was. You know, before then I had an idea of who she was. You know, I knew who I wanted her to be, but when I gave my life to Christ, I knew who I supposed to be. It's a difference,
right?
Because my mind changed all the time. I want to do basketball. No, I want to do this. I want to be that. Like it was constantly changing. But when I knew the core, like you always said, the core of who Shalisha was, I was able to stay on track.
Right. That's right. You
know, I seen the fruits of it then.
Right.
I ain't seen no fruits before then. You know, I ain't seen no fruits, but now I can see the fruits, Miss Cathy. You know, and with that, me knowing who Shalisha was, I became a wife, a mother, an entrepreneur. I started seeing these beautiful fruits, and, you know, and God is continually stretching, you know, me and producing these beautiful, juicy fruits, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
By having that core relationship with Jesus Christ, you know.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, there's nothing like it. Like there's nobody else on this planet that can be Shalisha. You know, nobody. And so for you to be able to experience more of yourself is an amazing thing. Starting with you first, and then you share who you come to understand yourself to be with others. You know, because it's you that goes into your work. It's you that goes into your parenting. It's you that goes into your marriage. You know, in relationship and foundation with God. That's what you put into those relationships. So, you know, we do ourselves a disservice by looking outside of ourselves.
Yes, ma'am.
Trying to be like others.
Yes, ma'am.
Wanting to be like somebody else. We really do ourselves a disservice. So, I mean, I know that I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the centering that I've gained over the years, you know, and just embracing myself more and more, loving myself more and more, you know, and just thinking that, you know, just a desire to see more and more of that, you know, expressing, living from that place for real, like authentically living from that place. You know,
that's so good. So basically, we foundation, God, you know, Jesus Christ, and knowing our seasons, knowing when to end, and knowing how to operate in the new seasons, you know, and how to learn from the old seasons and bring it over into the new seasons. And that's good. That's good because that's life, really. That's life, because you're going to forever be in different seasons. You're going to forever be in ending seasons and beginning seasons. So I think that's so important.
Yeah, and just be willing to move. You know, just be willing to trust God and where he's taking you. You know, and if that becomes difficult for you, think about where you were before.
That's good.
You know, and what he brought you through. You know what I mean? Just trust in that process. Like, there is no reason for God to leave me now.
Oh, go ahead,
what I mean?
Miss Cathy.
Like, I don't know where I'm going, but I know God is with me, so I know
that's
I'm safe.
so good. Oh gosh, that's so good, because I feel like that's the best place to be when we don't know.
Yeah.
Because that's when we know for sure that I ain't in control no more.
Right, that's right.
You know, and I'm trusting God fully in this. And then we always, like you said, we have those remember when moments. You know, remember when I didn't have it, or I didn't know, or where I wasn't at this place. We have to remember that. That give me a little boost under my butt. I know it do.
Yeah, that's right. And what's amazing about this, the more we trust, the more we realize we don't have to do anything. You know what I mean? Like,
it's already been done.
Like it, you know, like you may find yourself, you know, needing a solution to something. Like, the more you trust that solution will show up for you, the more it will without you having to do anything. You know, like, for example, I've been looking for I've been getting a lot of requests at my driving school for kids to go driving on the road. Like, a lot of people call, like, do you do that? And we don't do it right now. And in order for us to put that in place, like, I need another vehicle. Right? And so I've been thinking about it. Like, okay, that would be a great service to offer. I've been opening up to it. Like, I hadn't closed myself down to it because I'm saying, well, all I do is offensive driving and DUI. I'm open. Okay, that might not
expanding.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm open to that idea.
Yeah.
And just I need to take my father to the doctor yesterday, and wasn't even thinking about it. You know, when he was not even thinking about the whole driver's ed thing. Looked out the corner of my eye, there was a car. You know what I mean? That was reasonably priced, that I'm going to look at tomorrow.
Wow.
That may potentially be the car that I need to start this new service.
That's good.
But my point is, I'm just trusting, and that as I need answers to problems or to issues, they just show up. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't nothing that I got to sit down and find the solution to. The solution just shows up. That's what trusting is.
That's what trusting is. That's what trusting is. And knowing that he will provide, and that he hasn't ever failed me. He won't start now.
It doesn't make sense.
It don't make sense.
No.
It don't make sense for him to say, well, I done enough for Cathy.
Right.
I'm going to let her do it on her own.
Right.
You know? But the thing about Cathy, though, about you, Miss Cathy, you keep showing up.
Yeah.
You keep showing up for yourself. You know, a lot of times we give up. And you know, when those legs feel weak, we keep falling down, we stop, we give up. But you kept showing up, you kept showing up, you kept showing up, you know. And that takes a lot for you, you know.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're saying about the seasons. You know what I mean? Like, when one season ends, you transition into the next. And that's showing up for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, that season is ending, and I really didn't want that season to end, but apparently that was necessary. So I'm going to go with it. I'm just going to go with the flow. I'm going with it because I trust God. I trust that he has me. And I trust that wherever I'm going next is going to be better or greater for me.
And too, that God is going to provide in that season. Because that's where we are right now with the season we're in. I had to remember one moment a few days ago with DJ, and I told DJ, everything with God, he said from glory to glory to faith. So from when I think about to faith, every level of faith that you're being stretched.
That's right.
You're being stretched to use your faith. And that's the same thing about these seasons. From season to season, it's a stretch of your faith. It's a stretch, of that trusting, knowing he's going to be there. For me to keep showing up is taking faith. Even though I'm not seeing the outcome that I want to see, I'm going to keep showing up. You stretching it,
Right, because what's interesting about that, Shalisha, is, God can only show up in our lives to the degree of how big we see him. So that's why you let things stretch you.
Go ahead,
because the bigger you can see God, the bigger he can show up.
Yes.
He can only show up to the level of our faith.
Ooh, that's good.
I mean,
that's point blank. Period. That's period. Wow, that's good. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's right.
I need a moment of. That's so good. Yeah. That's so good, and I pray that the listeners hear this and apply this to their life because life is good, Miss Cathy.
It is good.
It's what you make it. It's how you see life and how you see yourself and how you see God.
Right. And what you say it is. Life is what you say it is. And we all know the scripture, life and death lies in the tongue.
It's power in that tongue.
It is. So it's going to be what you say it is. And if you can allow yourself to transition from season to season and allow it to grow you, like you'll start saying things more and more and greater because you're going to say it according to how you've experienced it. So if you experience God on a deeper, a wider, more expansive level, you'll start talking about God from that vantage point.
Yes.
So, that's all the more reasons why you have to allow yourself to transition and to go courageously from season to season.
I just heard transition with grace.
Transition with
grace.
That's right. Transition.
Yeah, give yourself some grace. You're not going to be perfect all the time. You're not going to do things that you think you should do it or how you should do it every time. Give yourself some grace. Don't speak negatively over yourself. We talked about it in the last meeting.
Yeah, that's right.
Just because I mess up, I'm not going to call myself stupid.
That's right. That's right.
I'm giving myself some grace.
That's right.
I ain't get it right this time, but the next time, I'm going to have it right.
Right. And because it's so true what you're saying, because as soon as I start calling myself stupid or crazy, I have just cursed myself.
It goes to work.
Right. Because the only thing that I can experience from this point on is another experience where I find myself stupid. Or crazy, or whatever it is we've said to ourselves.
Yeah.
And it works the opposite. So if I'm having an experience and I call myself amazing, and girl, you're wonderful. You're growing day by day. Look at you. Like if I start saying that kind of stuff, that becomes what I experience. That's how we become co-creators with God.
Yes,
See, God has already said it.
He already said, we're just confirming his word.
We're just confirming his word. And I think we should absolutely do that. We should go into agreement with God. I mean, it's for us to do.
It's for us to do. And so I just feel like a younger audience may be watching this. And I just want to say that find some affirmations. Speak them of yourself daily. Put them on your mirror. Say those things to yourself every day until you can say it without even looking at it. You can say it while you're riding down the road. You can say it in the moment where you feel like you're being stupid, but instead I'm going to affirm this over myself.
Right, that's right. That's right. And it may seem like a petty thing to do, but what's happening is like every time we say that, and we may not believe it when we start saying it, but you say it anyway. Keep showing up. Keep showing up. So what happens is every time we say it, it almost changes our DNA. You know what I mean? It changes our frequency.
Things are shifting for us.
It
for
shifts.
Our good.
That's right. And so it expands our capacity. So the more amazing that I call myself or whatever great things I want to say, and it may seem kind of strange at first because we may not believe it yet because we've had so many experiences that told us the opposite.
It's complete opposite.
And so we keep saying it. And we keep saying it, and things start shifting, it start changing until we start believing it.
Until we start believing, and that's a whole nother level.
And now we're functioning on that level of belief. You know what I mean? And then that gonna requires another level of faith.
That stretch, yeah.
That stretch, that expansion. So, the foundation is I'm an expansive being that's always growing, that's becoming better and better every single day through the experiences that God send me my way. Nobody shows up in my life that's a mistake. Nothing happens to me that's a mistake. This thing is coming to teach me.
It's ordained by God.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's this one saying that just came to my mind when you said we're expansive. And so I immediately thought about the saying that people say the sky is the limit. And I don't like that, because the sky is not the limit. That puts us in a box.
That's right.
The sky is not the limits. There's no limits.
Right, no limits.
God is expansive. We can go as far as the sky and beyond the universe and beyond the galaxy. The sky isn't the limit.
Right. And if we can't believe those things, Shalisha, then why would we say we have a relationship with God? You know what I mean? That is the purpose of the relationship with God. The benefits. You know what I mean? Woo. We got benefits. Woo. You know what I mean? And we supposed to live in those benefits. You know what I mean? It's just like our earthly father. Whatever our earthly father has that they can give us, they will give it to us. It's the same way with our heavenly father.
And much greater.
Yeah, much greater. Much greater. And we talked about this the last time we got together. As long as our heart's desire doesn't bring harm to ourselves or others, it doesn't make sense to me that God wouldn't want it for us.
Right.
And then I think that the more God lives in us, the more we just gonna serve with it anyway. So, I'm with you. The sky's the limit. That's too limited.
It's too limited because that's small to God.
Yeah.
That's small.
Yeah.
He created the whole world and the sky's our limit. I can't believe it. I don't believe it. So, are we good on time, DJ? Yeah. Okay. Comedian Cathy can roll. I have spoke about the affirmations, doing the affirmations to speak over yourselves, because your words have power. God spoke the whole word into existence. So your words have creative being. You create when you speak. What would you say to the women or the girls listening?
About just creating with their words.
Well, that, and to how to handle these seasons that they're going through. What encouraging words would you give to them that's going through maybe a dry season or a good season? Or what would you say to them?
I would say that just know that everything is purposed. Everything is designed for your good. Everything is working on your behalf. As difficult as it may be, it's working on your behalf. It's helping you to realize something that you may not be aware of, that have a strong hold on you. It's shifting your like you may be looking at something in a way that's not benefiting you. And that situation has come to make you aware of it. Just know that everything is purpose, and that it's gonna work on your behalf. It's just gonna work. It works for you.
And with that pause, I want to fill in and say it's gonna work on your behalf if you keep showing up for yourself.
Right.
Because nobody else can walk through this journey for you. You have to walk it yourself.
That's right.
You have to make the decision to say, I'm gonna do this if it hurts.
Right. That's right.
I'm gonna do it if it don't feel good. I'm gonna do it when it's good. I'm gonna do it when it's bad.
Right.
I'm gonna do it.
Right.
And it's all for the glory of God.
Right. That's
Whatever
right.
that I'm doing is for His glory.
Right.
So if it's for His glory, He's gonna make sure that it's gonna work in my favor.
Right.
Right.
Because I believe, Shalisha, that is the ultimate force in the universe. You know what I mean? And everything brings us back to God. Everything, even those things that may seemingly is coming to harm us, if we stay open and if we allow it to teach us and expand us, it just brings us back to God.
It brings us back. Yeah.
It just
That's
brings
good.
us back. So just be consistent. Like you said, stay with it. Allow yourself to transition. Allow yourself to feel hurt. But make sure you keep moving through it.
Make sure
keep moving through that cycle. Let it transform you. Let it teach you. And then you go and be that lesson that you learned. Because what you got to remember is that another lesson is going to show up.
Yes.
Another lesson. And you can use what you learned from that last lesson to help you maneuver through this one.
Yes.
So we just build on everything. It's all a process.
Yeah.
It's all developmental. You know, a baby don't learn how to walk its first day home from the hospital. You know what I mean? Like that baby.
Yes, that's so good, because if we just take a step back and look at life, the way a baby is born, the way the baby learns, we can even step back and look at a plant, how it is planted, how it grows. It's the same process with us. It goes through a process, you know, and sometimes that process may have some interference. But the process is still a process. You get what I'm saying? It's still gonna happen. That baby gonna get up and try walking, gonna fall.
That's right, it's gonna fall.
But that baby gonna get back up and continue that process.
Right.
You know, I ain't never seen an adult who's still crawling.
Right.
Have you?
Not me.
You know what I'm saying?
Seen it, yeah.
The process continued even though you kept falling. You kept getting up.
Right. And what I think sometimes what happens is, like what you were saying earlier, like we don't respect the process. Because sometimes we're looking outside of ourselves at somebody else's process. And we may feel like we may be further along, or this shouldn't be my case, or whatever the case may be. But I think that can be distracting to us sometimes.
It can be.
You know what I mean? Because we're looking outside of ourselves. I always tell my daughter, just stay centered. Just stay focused on you, you know, and where you are, you know, and do the next best step for you.
Yes.
Which may not look, you know, and I always tell her, you know, I got 28 years on you. You know, like, you know, your life ain't gonna look like mine.
Right.
You know, I've been around for a while, you know, but just respect your own process. And I think what happens is we get discouraged sometimes because we think because we're in the process, the thing that we won't get because we're in the process of. And so I think that can be distracting for people too, because we want it to be instantaneous. And so when we're in the process, we're thinking, oh, this thing that I desire, that I'm in process of, is not going to happen for me. And so we check out.
And that's because of I have to believe society. Everything looks instant, overnight. But if people really told their true story, there was a process.
It was a process.
There was a process.
It was a process.
You know? And so it take people like you and me to tell our story and show that process, you know? Because people may look at me now and say, oh, Shalisha is so successful. Look like her life is just all this and that, you know? But there was a process.
It was a process. That's right.
Same for you.
Right. That's right. Because I know I've been in business for 12, 13 years now. And probably year 13 is the best year I've seen.
13, you know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
13 years in.
Exactly. 13 years in. And so now, you know, this is probably the best that I've ever seen. So you just stay with it.
Stay with it. You can't skip the process.
Yeah, you can't skip
There's no way out of the process.
Yeah. And the whole time I'm in the process, I know that, you know, I'm bigger and I'm greater. So I don't have nowhere else to go but to stay and to stay with this process.
To stay with the process.
Because if I check out, then I want to get a chance to see who I am at my core.
That's good.
You know, who God says that
good.
I am. I'm not going to stop until I see more and more of who God says that I am. I just want to see it.